I'm Eric Stark, and I'm joined with Lancashire Newspaper's beat writer for the Hershey Bears, Kevin Freeman. We're going to talk some hockey, some AHL hockey. The Hershey Bears season is about 2 weeks in. It's okay, still time for a preview. I'm wearing Capital stuff because this is where the Bears aspire to be, and they will be. In fact, I'm surprised, Kevin, there's not more of the Hershey Bears, the Calder Cup champion Bears, up with the big league club. Why are so many of these Bears back? How many total do we have back from last year?
I don't know the exact number, but there's probably only 2 or 3 that didn't come back, which is an amazing number. So that means some did not leave via free agency, and there was just no room at the big club or the Capitals for them to play. There are different kinds of forwards. There are role players that the people in the Bears couldn't make the Capitals because they're filled at that position. So that's the reason why so many came back to the Bears this year and why they're a good chance to go to the finals again.
And it blew my mind when the top line for the Bears. I mean, these guys, the Bears scored 296 goals last year, and these guys on the top line couldn't make it to the Capitals. And you explained to me why that was. There's a reason why these guys are good. There's a reason why they're being held back a little bit here.
Right. Well, the top guy, I guess, is Alexander Giroux, who from the regular season in the playoffs scored 75 goals, which was a league record. Now, you'd think of the guy who scored 75 goals in the second-best league would easily make it to the next level. But he, as a member of the Capitals, actually he wasn't a member of the Capitals at the end of last year. He was a free agent, but nobody sought to sign him in the offseason, which is kind of odd. And for that reason, I don't know. But he didn't make the Capitals because he's a scorer. He's a goal scorer. He sets up goals. He's not exactly your best defensive forward. So in Washington, there was no need for that kind of player.
They've got a few of them.
They have a few of them, and there was no room for them. Now, they needed third and fourth line guys, but those guys in the National Hockey League are players that check, and that's their primary job, to check and penalty kill. And that's not Giroux's long suit. So that's why he's back with the Bears this year.
You got another guy down there, Keith Aucoin, that's really good as well, and he's back. There's sort of a nice tandem up here for the Bears.
Right. They work very, very well together. And I guess Aucoin probably was responsible for passing the puck to Giroux on 60 of those 75 goals.
Wow.
They just work very, very well together. And now they've added Andrew Gordon this year, who took the place of Graham Mink. And he played second line mostly last year, but he's up there this year. And in 4 games, he leads the league in scoring. So I'm sure he's pretty happy to be playing with G and Aucoin.
And he had 45 points last year, if I'm correct.
I think that's right.
So, I read in your story of your preview. So.
Okay.
That's offensively, and they've got some solid guys on the second or the third and fourth lines as well.
Right.
Defensively, who are some guys we should be watching there? They're pretty solid there as well.
They are. They're led by Brian Helmer. He was the captain last year, returned. They named him captain again this year. He's been in the league for probably 15 years. A lot of those guys could be his sons playing out there. That's how old he is. But he's a very good player, very solid defensively. And they've got some young talent also defensively, and that's John Carlson and Carl Alsner, both late cuts from the Capitals. And I expect to see them, if there's injuries in Washington, play up there a couple of times this year. So that's why they're very good behind the blue line. And you mentioned defensively, too. You need defensive forwards also. And they're very good there with Jay Beagle and Andrew Judry. Just very good, solid. They can penalty kill, and they can play third and fourth lines and check the opposing team's top line. So it's a pretty stacked team.
Defensively, we've talked up front. What about the goal? You got to have a good goalie. And I said to you, I think they got 2 good ones, and you said no, they've got 3. Tell me about these guys.
Well, I'm not sure about the third one yet, but in preseason he looked pretty good, and that's Bakashawa. It's kind of a funny name.
I'll let you say that.
Yeah, that's right. But he may not see a whole lot of action this year. It's probably going to be Michael Newvirth, and he was the guy that backstopped them all the way to the Calder Cup championship last year. Now, he may go to Washington and play a little bit, but for the most part he'll be in Hershey. But the guy they brought up from juniors is Braden Holtby, and he's gotten 3 out of the 4 starts this year so far and played very, very well. He's, I guess he's 2-1 with a 1.1 goals against average. Wow. So that's a find there, too. They're really goalie rich. Now, one of the guys who was young, just like Newvirth, who's backing up in Washington, is Selman Varlamov. And he had a shaky sort of start to the season this year, but he's seen as one of their goalies of the future.